Hello, today we will recap a horror suspense thriller movie from 2018, titled A Quiet Place. Spoilers ahead, watch out and enjoy. The film takes place 89 days after a catastrophic event, in which aliens invade the Earth. These aliens have an excellent sense of hearing, and will go after anything that makes a noise. The Abbott family consists of the parents, Lee and Evelyn, and their 3 children, Regan, Marcus, and Beau. They live in a world where silence is essential for survival. They venture into a deserted town in search of supplies, communicating only through sign language in order to avoid making any noise. Marcus falls ill one day while they're in town, and Evelyn finds medicine to help him recover. Meanwhile, Beau discovers a toy rocket and gets fascinated by it. Lee, on the other hand, removes the batteries and warns him that they are too noisy to play with, but he secretly takes the batteries. As the family prepares to leave town, they hear a noise that alerts them to the presence of aliens. They must return home in a race against time, while being pursued by the blind but lethal alien. They face various challenges and obstacles along the way, and Lee must make difficult decisions to protect his family. Unfortunately, on his way back home along a dirt path, Beau replaces the batteries in the toy rocket and turns it on, making loud noises. Lee rushes to save Beau, but he gets taken by an alien before Lee can reach him. This sudden and unexpected attack has devastated the family. Lee, Evelyn, Marcus, and Regan are overcome with grief and sorrow over Beau's death. It's been over a year since the alien invasion, and the Abbotts are still surviving in this dangerous world. Lee has been working on developing a hearing aid for Regan, who is deaf. But so far, all of his efforts have been futile. Meanwhile, Evelyn is expecting their 4th child, which adds to the difficulties of trying to stay safe in a world where noise can be deadly. The Abbotts are seen enjoying a rare moment of peace and relaxation. The children are playing Monopoly, a board game that allows them to forget about the dangers of their surroundings and simply enjoy themselves. This peaceful moment ends when Marcus accidentally knocks over a lantern, starting a small fire. Lee quickly extinguishes the fire, and the family waits with nervousness to see if the noise has attracted any of the dangerous aliens. Fortunately, the alien never appears, and the family's peaceful evening continues. Later, Lee and Evelyn dance while listening to a song on a device. Despite the danger, Lee decides to take Marcus fishing at the falls the next day. Regan offers to come along, but Lee insists that she stay behind and help her mother. There is a real tension between Lee and Regan. Lee tries to reassure Marcus that it is safe to speak at the falls, because the sound of the river is louder than any noise they could make. They can finally have a conversation without having to use sign language. Marcus opens up to Lee during their conversation, telling him that Regan blames herself for what happened to Beau. Marcus inquires as to whether Lee feels the same way, but Lee denies it. Marcus then asks Lee if he loves Regan, to which Lee says yes. Marcus suggests that Lee express his feelings to Regan, because it will make her feel better. While at home, Regan decides to leave and go to the bridge, to see the memorial they built for Beau. She disassembles the toy rocket that killed Beau and removes the batteries to silence it, but leaves the lights on. As Lee and Marcus return home, they come across a man standing next to the mutilated body of a woman, who could have been his wife. Lee tries to signal to the man to be quiet, but the man's emotions get the best of him and he screams. This scream draws one of the aliens' attention. Lee and Marcus quickly take cover as the alien kills the man. As the story progresses, Evelyn's water breaks and she flees to their home's basement. Unfortunately, she steps on an exposed nail on the stairs, impaling her foot, but she manages to control her urge to scream. However, the sound of the picture frames dropping attracts the attention of one of the aliens. Evelyn turns on the red light bulbs placed around their property to alert her family that there is danger. She searches for a kitchen timer to distract the alien and makes a run for it. The alien moves slowly down the stairs, listening for any signs of life. When the timer expires, the alien attacks it, while Evelyn returns upstairs. When she gets to the top floor, she notices another alien outside and decides to take refuge in the bathroom. The alien appears upstairs as she begins to give birth. Lee returns home to find the red warning lights illuminated, a clear indication of approaching danger. He signs the word rocket to his son Marcus, and instructs him to make a loud noise to distract the aliens. Marcus grabs his shotgun and rushes to the designated area, where he lights a fuse, triggering a series of fireworks. Meanwhile, Lee begins searching the house and enters the bathroom, where he discovers an empty bathtub filled with the blood of his wife Evelyn. He believes she has been killed. To his surprise, he discovers her safe and hidden in the shower with their new baby boy. Marcus, on the other hand, has run into trouble. He is walking back home when he hears an alien. In an attempt to flee, he runs into a cornfield, but ends up knocking himself out after colliding with a tractor wheel. When Regan gets home, he notices Marcus' torch beam shining from the cornfield. However, she doesn't hear the alien that is closing in on her. Suddenly, her cochlear implant begins to produce loud and high-pitched feedback, causing the alien to flee. Regan rushes over to find Marcus, and the two of them take refuge on the top of the grain silo. Meanwhile, Lee has taken Evelyn to the basement, and placed their newborn son in a soundproof crib. Evelyn reflects on Beau's death, and expresses regret for not carrying him with her that day. She then asks Lee to promise to protect and keep their children safe, before falling asleep. Later, Evelyn awakens to find the basement flooded, and an alien has entered the room where the baby is sleeping. Despite the danger, Evelyn picks up her baby, and hides behind the waterfall in the basement's back corner to keep them both safe. Regan and Marcus are on top of the grain silo. Marcus assures Regan that their father will come to save them, but Regan shakes her head and says that their father will only come to save Marcus. Suddenly, a hatch on the top of the silo breaks and Marcus falls inside the grain. At the same time, the alien in the flooded cellar with Evelyn is drawn to the noise. Regan jumps into the silo and pushes the hatch towards her brother, saving him. She, on the other hand, begins to sink into the grain. But Marcus pulls her out to safety. They are both sitting on top of the silo door when they hear a crash. The alien from the flooded cellar jumps into the silo. However, Regan's cochlear implant processor generates high-pitched feedback, causing the alien to crash out of the silo's side, saving Regan and Marcus. Regan and Marcus finally make it out of the silo and into a pickup truck. Lee, their father, arrives on the scene, grabs an axe and prepares to confront the alien. However, he is quickly overpowered by the alien, and Marcus screams in terror. This draws the alien's attention to the truck, and it begins to tear it open. Regan's cochlear implant processor emits piercing feedback, which she quickly turns off. This enables the alien to continue attacking the truck. Lee makes eye contact with Regan despite her injuries, and signs, "I love you, I have always loved you." He sacrifices himself with a final yell to save his children. Regan and Marcus successfully shift the truck into neutral, and return to the house, where they are reunited with their mother. After hearing the approaching alien, Evelyn and the kids flee to the safety of the basement. Regan, who has never been allowed down there before, is deeply moved when she sees her father's work on her cochlear implant processor for the first time. As the lights begin to flicker, the alien enters the basement and has them cornered. Regan, on the other hand, notices a note her father wrote asking, "What is their weakness?" and realizes the solution. She activates her cochlear implant processor, resulting in piercing feedback that causes the alien to stumble. By pressing her processor against a microphone, Regan amplifies the feedback, causing the alien to collapse. Evelyn shoots it with her shotgun before it can get back up. The family notices on the surveillance cameras that the commotion has drawn all of the aliens in the area to their home. So Regan cranks up the speakers, and Evelyn confidently reloads the shotgun. A Quiet Place is a masterful film that uses sound to heighten the tension. The film is a prime example of how to create a thriller that will keep you on the edge of your seat from beginning to end, thanks to top-notch performances from its lead actors. We highly recommend watching this film if you haven't already. And for those who have already seen it, it's time to watch it again. So this was the story of the film A Quiet Place, released in 2018. If you liked the story, then do watch the full film, and if you want to watch more such amazing recaps, then do subscribe to our channel. See you in the next recap.